This is not the video that I had planned to post today, but something somehow is telling me deep down that this is the video that I need to share, and there's somebody who probably needs to hear this. And if somebody doesn't, well, I feel like this is a video that I need to share. It's the end of the year, and it's really a reflective time. I think naturally, and even if you try to avoid it, it calls for reflection, right? And I know as part of these reflections, you're going to see, we see a lot of people who are talking about like all the things that they have achieved, all the amazing things that they were able to do, all these great things, which is great. But we don't see a lot about what we suck at or what we are not good at, not as a way to talk bad about ourselves, but also as a way of showing the other side of the coin. Because I think, yes, it is great to celebrate our successes, but I think sometimes it's also good to show the things that we've had to overcome on our way to that success. But not just that, also the things that we are currently overcoming. Because if there's one thing that I have learned throughout my journey this year as a creator, an entrepreneur, you know, a family member, a friend, a business owner, somebody who's out there, a social media personality, like somebody who's just out there and living and doing and striving and overcoming challenges and everything that I'm doing. One thing I've learned is that there is duality between your successes and your not yet successes, that we can maybe just call in this video failures. And those things can coexist. Like, you can be great at something and absolutely suck at something, or you can be great at something while you're struggling with something else. Anyways, that's too long of an intro. I want to talk to you about the things that I am currently struggling with and the ways in which I am working to make these things better, right? Because these are things that I recognize. I'm not gonna say the weapons form against me that are preventing me to prosper, but the current roadblocks on my journey, and maybe you identify with some of them. I made a list here for me not to forget. And the first one is fear of success. I know that is very strange, but I don't even know how to describe it. But I think the best way I can think of it is sabotaging myself in an unconscious way, that I recognize I'm sabotaging myself, and I have been so used to doing that you know, it becomes just like now second nature, which is not a good thing. Fear of success is, to me, it's like, I know I have what it takes to make things happen. I know I am not operating at the level where I'm supposed to be operating. I know I can do bigger and even better things, but a part of me is afraid of getting to that level, because I have never been at that level that I know I am meant to be at. And I don't know really what I'm afraid of. Like, if it's like the being seen so big, or if it's like the income that will come with it, or the exposure, or the responsibilities. I don't know how to describe it, but I know that a lot of times I feel called to do something bigger, but I don't do what I'm supposed to do because I am afraid that it will actually work. And therefore I like sabotage myself by either not doing it on time, or doing it like super last minute when I knew I had all the time to do it, or not doing it to the full potential of what it should be, or talking myself out of it. You know, that fear of success. And it's not imposter syndrome. It's like, I know it's fear of success. And yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's something that I'm working on. But yeah, let me know if that's something that you're also experimenting, is something that you're also feeling that you're struggling with, or you've ever experienced before. Let me know in the comments. The other thing that I'm currently struggling with is procrastination. I have watched a lot of videos of people talking about, oh, this is why we procrastinate, because your mind does this and your mind does that, and like a lot of videos about how to overcome procrastination. And I've tried a few things, but I think in my case, my procrastination is linked to that fear of success, and it's linked to me actually sabotaging myself in a way that I don't do what I'm supposed to do at a time when I'm supposed to do it. And therefore, if it doesn't work, and I can just blame myself on, well, not doing it enough, and I can just kind of like go back into that self-loathing. I know it's weird and it's messed up, and it's just strange, But like, I know that is the reason why I procrastinate on a lot of things. Like, I have so many great ideas, so many things that I want to implement, and I know that some of them I'm like, I know this is gonna work. And sometimes I'm like, I don't even do it until it's like very last minute, and I really go like super turbo. I push myself to really do it, and like, it works, but it doesn't work as well as it would have worked if I did it earlier. And I'm like, well, at least it still works, so I don't feel completely like a total waste. But at the same time, I know that, I didn't achieve the full potential of what it should be, which is messed up. But yeah, the other thing that I'm currently struggling with is self-doubt. And this is like, it's so weird because I understand like, me struggling with self-doubt as an adult, a fully formed adult who is at the highest level of academic achievement and has traveled the world, has been in big rooms with decision makers, impactful people. How dare I struggle with self-doubt? And I am a child of God, a child of the Most High, the God's favorite. I know who God says I am. And how can I struggle with self-doubt, right? It's an example of that duality that I was talking about. Like, you can know something but also still struggle with it. And I think here the issue is that I need to reconcile who I know I am with how I am operating right now, because I know I am capable of like really great and amazing things, but I also know that the things that I'm doing are not allowing me to operate. I am not allowing myself to operate at the highest level where I should be operating for me to be who I am supposed to be fully. I know that is the issue. And that's why I'm like, I'm going to tell you the things I am struggling with and the way I am working to correct it. In a way, I think correcting this I shouldn't say just, because it would be minimizing it, but correcting it will involve doing more of the things I know I'm supposed to do, even afraid, even with doubt, even when I'm like shaky and jittery, even when I'm not sure, but doing it because I know that this is what I'm meant to be. And worst case scenario, I pivot. Worst case scenario, I learn, right? But yeah, that's self-doubt. I'm like, when I was a child, I was like, if y'all see me and you think I'm confident right now, when I was a child, I was a badass. I was very confident. I was 100,000 times more confident than I am right now. And a lot of times when I realize that I'm kind of like sheltering, going back into this shell of self-doubt, this question comes to my mind, and it is, who taught you to be afraid? Who taught you to doubt your potential? Who taught you to doubt what you could do? And it puts a lot of things into perspective for me, because I am getting back to being who I can't say to, yeah, I think along the way in this adulthood thing, I lost myself a little bit, especially from the side of the confidence. I don't know if it was from disappointments, from like failed endeavors, from, society. But I feel like I am getting back to being who I am, and better, like who I am meant to be. And I am working to overcome that self-doubt. And I know that the more I really lean into who God says I am, and the more I also just live and operate from who I want to be and not from where I am, I know that I will do more and I will just be more confident. And to the point that I just said, operating from where I want to be at and not where I am, it's kind of like, it's a mindset shift that is kind of like, if you want to be more fit, right, you start to behave like somebody who is physically fit. What does a physically fit person do? They go to the gym, they exercise, they walk, they have a healthy diet, they drink water, they mind their business, right? If you want to operate as a high level, if you want to be a high level entrepreneur, or high earning entrepreneur, what do high earning entrepreneurs do? What are their habits? So it's like building the habits that will help support the person that you are trying to become. Some people start by like just like operating with the end in mind, which is what I have seen and I have learned and I have like heard that like really high performers do, which works best for me. Other people, they work their way there, so they are like, you know what, I want to become high level XYZ, I want to become XYZ, so let me start to work my way there, baby steps. So like they start at the beginning with not thinking of the end in mind, but not starting with the end in mind. But what has worked with for me, and what has been a bigger motivation thing, or a bigger driver for me, was operating with the end in mind. Like, I know this, I'm telling myself I'm a high level entrepreneur, and this is what high level entrepreneurs do. They do XYZ, they do XYZ, they finish their to-do list, they eat healthy, they exercise, they do this, they take decisions quickly. So for me, this works better. Like, looking at the best version of who I want to be, and starting to operate like that person now. But then there's a lot of work that needs to be done from where I am to becoming that person. So yeah, let's talk about the other things I'm struggling with right now. And I invite you to share what you're struggling with as well. If any of these things resonate with you, let me know. And if you're struggling with something else, this is your open door for you to share. Let's embrace ourselves on them people internet together. The other thing that I am struggling with is wanting to see results right away. Y'all, I think this is one of my biggest things as a child of this generation, where we really grew up with social media. As social media got amplified, we saw it and we see it every day. And as much as social media has so many blessings, so many beautiful things, I think one of the things that it has also trained us to do and to believe is like everything comes right away and everything is easy. And I feel like as a result of that, I have unconsciously trained myself to want to see results right away, in a way that if I don't see results right away, I feel like whatever I'm doing is not working. It could be, I am an influencer, right? So it could be like posting on social and not seeing like the views pick up, or not seeing comments. Or when I go to the gym, it could be like literally finishing an ab workout and looking at my abs like, girl, your abs are not going to come right away, but it's a result of multiple reps. And as much as I know these realities, it's like it doesn't make me not want to see results right away, right? But like, I know that this is something that is going to just require, I shouldn't say just because it minimizes the process, but I feel like I have to go back to the basics, go back to really just understand that the basis of nature, the basis of achieving anything. And this is also one of the things that is keeping me grounded, because I have that foot into reality, where I know that things worth having take time. Building habits, building systems, operating at the highest level where you want to be, becoming a better person, becoming a better whatever you want to become better at, takes time. And that keeps me grounded. Yet the millennial side of me is like, I want to see it right now. I want to see the result right now. Like, I want to have those abs right now. I want to have this perfect relationship right now. I want to have the perfect skin right now. So yeah, I think that's work that needs to be continued and in progress. But if you're struggling with that too, let me know, so I can feel like I'm not alone in this. The other thing that I'm struggling with a lot is fear of disappointing. Child. Fear of disappointing. I think this comes from growing up, from my upbringing. Growing up with a single mother. Well, my parents were married, but then my mother became single. And having to raise 4 high achieving children. We've always been like results driven, goal driven, and just always looking at like the results and everything. And I've always seen that hard work gives results, right? And every time I did something well and then I got good results, my mom was proud of me, and the people around were proud of me. So it's like, when you know that, the things that make your parents or even your social circle, your entourage, proud of you, then if you decide to pivot or to do something else, it might look like you are disappointing them. And I think that is a big fear that amplifies as you get adults. For me, it's like, because the adult years are years where, you really kind of like have to find stability in something. These are the years where you gotta get married, you gotta get children, you gotta have a house, you gotta have like money saved for retirement and so forth. So there are like these specific things that you need to achieve as an adult, and these are the years also where I feel like your biggest fears are also revealed more, because it feels like if you are not walking along the lines of those expected adult construct, you might be a disappointment, or you might disappoint. So I think that is one of the things that I'm afraid of also, and I'm working towards it by really locking in on the path that I know I'm supposed to walk in, the things that I know God called me to do, really locking in into that, and that helps me to stay grounded. But it doesn't mean that that fear of disappointing goes away, but it just means that as I'm aware of that fear of disappointing, I try to shut down that voice by really locking in and knowing that what I'm doing right now is in alignment with what God wants me to do, because I am very convinced of that, even if my entourage doesn't understand, right? Distractions. Oh, child. This goes back with wanting to see results right away, in the sense that these are the ills and the evils of our generation. I am struggling with distractions. I think my experience, my journey with distractions is like, I know what to do to not get distracted, but every single time I land myself to distractions, it's just harder to go back on track. I feel like we live in a world, in a society where it's like everything wants our attention, every single thing. New social media apps every time, algorithms are changing, new blinking things, like every it's like everything wants you to be everywhere. And for me, for the work that I do as an influencer in the travel and tourism industry, I out to be on social media. Like, I need to be there for my business, for my brands, for clients, and so forth. But it sometimes is very hard to just kind of like separate church from state, and to really stay focused, because as soon as you get on the app, you get bombarded, and we all know once you click, that's it. Even if you spend like 5 seconds on something, if you are used to spending 3 seconds and then now you're spending 5 seconds, the algorithm already knows that, okay, yeah, you you like this, so we're gonna feed you more of that, right? So I struggle with distractions, and that is also one of the reasons why I have put such draconian, that is a term that we used to use in medical school, like draconian measures in place for me to really stay the course, because distractions are a time stealer. Scrolling too long, it doesn't just take your time away, it takes your energy, and it takes your mental space. And even if you are able to get back your time, the energy and the mental state, you cannot reboot it like that so easily. So for me, I have a lot of personal draconian measures put in place for me to really make sure that I stay on track. And the reason why I have those draconian measures is because I know that distractions are a big thing, like the social media, the notifications, the red sign showing that you have a new message in XYZ, the phone calls, the emails, the bling blings, the text. It's like a lot. And at the level where I perform, right, making decisions on a daily basis, executing, and also making like daily nitty gritty little tasks, I need to be focused for a good period of time. So if you are like messaging me and sending me WhatsApp messages, text messages, and I don't respond to you right away, or I don't respond like after 24 hours and so forth, understand that I need the focus time, and it's okay for you to follow up 2 to 3 days later. Worst case scenario, if it gets urgent, call me. But distractions are a huge thing, and I think that a lot of things are even engineered towards us being distracted, or to get our attention toward those things, which means our attention is not on the other main important things that we should have our attention on. So let me know what your strategies are for you to deal with distractions. I shared mine. I'm not going to go into the details of the draconian measures yet, unless you want me to, what is working for me so far. And I think I'm going to tone it down a bit once I am back to the level where I am really focused, and I don't need to have those draconian measures in place anymore. All right, I have 2 more things to talk about, and of course I invite you to share yours in the comment section of this video. Tell me what you're struggling with, so I can share some tips if I overcame that, and then if you have tips for me to help me also overcome the things that I'm struggling with, let me know, right? Because maybe your tips could work better for me. Who knows? Overthinking, that's another thing that I'm struggling with. Child. I I don't even want to say I'm an over analyzer, because I don't want to reinforce that because I think my analytic brain is a great part of me, but I think sometimes it takes over too much. I tend to overthink a lot. I tend to overanalyze a lot. I tend to just try to anticipate too much, too many case scenarios. And I think it's part of being the leader of a company. It's part of being at the forefront of what I'm doing. It's part of being constantly making decisions, right? But sometimes because of that, I'm not able to shut it down, and I'm not able to just like make a decision quickly because I want to look at all the angles. And yeah, the overthinking is just a lot. Like, it's a lot. I feel like I I want to be better at making decisions faster, and then standing on those decisions. I mean, I make a lot of great decisions stuff, right? But because I tend to just overanalyze so many elements, so many parts, so many aspects, it takes me too long, and because of that I tend to miss out on opportunities. So I want to get better at that. And I think everywhere I've seen and I've read, it's like the qualities of great leaders are decisiveness. Like, make a decision and stick to it. Of course you want to consider all the other components and elements, but like, don't take forever. And I think because I've gotten into the habit of just overthinking things, yeah. And then the last thing that I want to talk, because I've dragged myself already on the people internet for 20 minutes now, and I kind of want to hear some of yours. I feel like my brain is always on. My brain is always on, and it's gotta stop. Like, sometimes I don't want my brain to always be on. But it's like, because I don't even know how to explain it. I always think like a business owner. I think like a marketing guru. I always think to optimize things, and I think it's because that is what I have done, right? But sometimes I just need to just be, and not always optimize everything. Like, okay, if it's not perfect, it's okay. If, as long as it's done, it's okay. If it's not like the best thing, adjust it along the way. And sometimes I just want to, like, I think I'm mixing also right now. I'm mixing brain always on and perfectionism, but I struggle with that too. Like, sometimes I just want to go somewhere and just eat, and not think about, oh, let me take a photo of this, let me take a video of this, or oh, this could have been XYZ. Like, just eat it for what it is. Eat the sandwich for what it is. Be there, and just like let that part of the brain that is always thinking shut down, and just exist outside of my niche, outside of my environment, my usual environment, right? But yeah, those are things that I definitely want to continue working on in 2026. So now the ball is in your camp. Tell me, what are some of the things that you're struggling with? I can share some tips with you, or maybe I can just, encourage you as you work with it. Maybe you don't even need any advice. Maybe you just need somebody to hear it and know that you're not alone. Maybe you already have what it takes to figure it out, and you don't need any advice, right? You see, I was trying to over optimize and like try to give you a solution. I don't even know what the problem is. Like, girl. Anyways, if you watched this far, thank you for watching. This is Vlogmas. I hope you're learning something. I hope it's being useful to you. And if there's something specific that you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. And see you tomorrow in the next video.